Welcome to the very first episode of the Dabble Den. We're going to be talking all kinds of pop culture, exclusives, shows that are coming out, and just things that you need to know or see, and our personal opinions on pop culture items. Introduce myself. My name's Tori. As far as my fandom, I'm about as mass media as they get. I guess really the only deep cuts I get are I like a lot of Korean horror and some anime, but if it's a big mass media show, movie, I'm into it. Marvel, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, like that. I don't have too many deep cuts, so I guess I'll be the general public kind of guy. Next up is Danny or the Danny.
Hi guys. So my name is Danny. When we're talking about what we like, I'm more of I like it all. I dabble in everything, but I don't have one true fandom at all. I'm a collector. I love toys, FigPins, which you'll see very soon, and I'll do comic books. I like more collecting than reading them. However, I don't know. It's crazy weird compulsion.
It's the artwork. That's what it is.
That's what it is. But what about you, Dan?
So, hi guys, name's Dan. I hate Marvel, as you can definitely tell. Love really anything science fiction. I grew up with science fiction. Ridley Scott was huge in what I did. James Cameron, but comic books, good movies. That's really where I like to stick it out and have a good time.
All right, awesome. Well, that's a quick introductions on the team. We're going with Dan and Danny since we got two Dannys. And then first up is somebody's dirty little secret obsession of fig pins. I don't know if you guys know about fig pins, but Danny is quite the collector. So as a joke to him, because of how much we see his post every week, we're going to have a segment every week of what fig pins did Danny buy this week. And I don't think you guys are ever going to get disappointed.
All right. Well, there's going to be a little bit disconnect here because what I bought and what I actually have are going to be different. So I bought a lot this past few weeks. Haven't gotten them yet. Some of them I actually gotten early releases. So we'll talk about some third-party sites where you can go ahead and get some early releases to go and unlock your fig power. If you don't know what that is, the fig pin is they do these nice figures that are pins. They do come in cases such as these. They come in different sizes, little mini ones, 3-inch ones, extra large ones, which are typically 6 inches, which if you put them next to a 6-inch figure like a Hasbro Marvel Legend, they're practically the same height. But this week, I received my exclusive Pins on Fire Weiss. So very happy on that one. But I did go and buy quite a few other ones that will be in the mail. They're in the mail right now, being shipped. So there's a Goku, Vegeta, the Gohan, the little mini baby Gohan. We'll go in and get some of that information out so you can take a look. They're great. I will unveil them in person next time we're here.
So DBZ is the theme for right now, huh?
That and Star Wars. So I don't know if you were looking at the figpin.com. They went ahead and released a couple of exclusives, but yes, DBZ a couple of weeks ago they had the Boo extra large one. They also went ahead and released for the 40th anniversary of with Star Wars. What is it? The Empire.
Yep.
The Luke Skywalker, the first big pin there. So we'll talk about that as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, first up, I think we're going to cover some of the big exclusives that we've noticed coming out this week. Some of them are pre-order. Some of them, unfortunately, by the time you're seeing or hearing this, you've probably missed out. Some of the cool things. And our theme this week is mostly Star Wars, with it being the May the 4th and the unofficial Star Wars week. So first up, I don't know. Well, there's obviously a lot of Funko Pop collectors out there. But Funko released that the Mandalorian and the Child set. That thing is amazing looking. I'm not too much of a pop collector. I usually stick with Captain America only, so I don't have. They've got pretty much, you know, every license out there. But That Mando and Child Pop looks amazing. It looks really good. That's even one I'm considering about adding to the collection.
Yeah, it's nice. I myself, I had a quick run with Funko Pops. I don't do them that often. I'll go ahead and get Dragon Ball ones. I'll pick certain ones, but the Star Wars ones are really nice. Especially the one that you're talking about.
So Danny, you're next up. Which one do you want to? What do you want to talk about?
I'm gonna go back to FigPin.
That's gonna be the norm, I think.
So, I quickly talked about that FigPin, that the Funko FigPin release of the Luke Skywalker. So it was limited to 1,980. Based, I believe it's
Oh yeah, when the movie came out, yeah.
1980. It sold out, I believe, within about 4 minutes. It was a limit of 2. It went by pretty quick. A lot of people didn't think it was going to sell out that quick, just because it was the first time they did a numbered sequence Star Wars FigPin. There was one last year at D23 in a 5-pack. It was the R2D2. It didn't have any serial number. It didn't have any of the FigPin name on it. So it was a specially licensed thing that they had for D23. This is the first one. And hopefully it's going to start a bigger releases in line for the Star Wars and FigPin, because I know a lot of the newest releases have been anime, and I know a lot of people want a little bit of a variety now. So I know that there was a teaser today that there's going to be possibly one for Gears of War. I haven't played a Gears of War recently, but I know a lot of people are excited for that already.
Yeah, because FigPin's kind of new, isn't it?
What's that?
The FigPin is kind of new, right? It hasn't been around nearly as long as FigPin.
So I stumbled upon it about 2 years ago, and I think it was even a year prior than that. I was in line at Comic-Con, and it bumped up against that particular booth, and I'm like, what is this? And then I looked at the price, it was like $15. I'm like, for what, a pin? I didn't give them the benefit of that time, but it was last year. So I'm actually a pretty newer collector of FigPins. It's only been about 10 or 11 months, and that was when it was last July, and I went in and I again stumbled upon the FigPin booth. I'm like, all right, let's go deep into it. And I made the mistake of only getting one 2-pack. It was the Broly and Vegeta. But then by the end of that month, I had every single thing that I missed there. I had to pay more, so
yeah,
you know what you're getting into. But yeah, they've been around for quite a few years, but this is this year and last year, the first real years that they've exploded, and they're getting very big. A lot of their exclusives are selling out within minutes. I know if it's My Hero Academia, they're going to be sold out within a minute or two for sure.
I think, and then anything they come, now that I don't know how long they've had it, but with the Star Wars license now, that's going to be huge, especially, we're going to talk about later more Star Wars coming out, but I only have 2. I pretty much every time we talk about exclusive, if there's a Captain America version, I'm going to say I have it, but I've only got the 2 FigPins, and there's the 2 Captain Americas that have come out so far, and pre-ordered the 3rd one that's coming out, but they look really good. They display good. I think exclusives and, collectibles like that, I think they're right on that tipping point. You're going to, they're in hot GameStop now. You catch a couple in Walmart every once in a while right now. I think they're, Funko, it was a gradual, and then they started like amassing licensing and getting it out there. But not that I think there's anything wrong with Pops, and I love about the Pops I have probably 40 or 50, but I really do like those FigPins, especially when they start adding more and more licenses.
Well, it's a different type of collectible for different type of collectors.
Yep. And I know you just brought up GameStop. I know GameStop today started shipping out a lot of their exclusive minis. They have 4 new FigPin minis. I did place my order. I was a little late to the game on the pre-order, but they are shipping. People are already unlocking them as of today. So little mini versions of some of your favorite My Hero Academia guys.
Oh, well, I know next con, when we actually get to go to a San Diego Comic-Con again, I know your main goal is going to be divide and conquer for every FigPin that's on the exhibit floor.
Yeah, whenever things open up, ECC, NYCC, SDCC, that's where they're doing a lot of their exclusives. I know Los Angeles Comic-Con got a Deku last year. Speaking of which, they're actually going to be another company. I can't can't remember what their name was. They're going to be releasing a glitter version of that same one. I'll try to go and get that information for you guys. They're dropping that on Friday.
All right,
Awesome.
thanks.
Get that in
What
the
other? Is there another Star Wars item you wanted to introduce, Danny?
Yeah. So I'm very confident of rolling this one out to you guys. I'm not an avid collector of Barbies, but I do dabble in my enthusiasm for different toys. So there is a new line of Barbie Star Wars figures. So they're on pre-order right now. If you go, I believe, where was it? Mattel that has them.
Mattel.
You may be able to go and find it on Amazon pretty soon as well. But they look pretty good. It looks like they all have all new tooling for their costumes. It's going to be a Barbie, but the costume they look great.
There's a Darth Vader Barbie. How can you go wrong?
Darth Vader. There was a Leia. I think they even had a C-3PO. So you get the whole collection.
And I think it's going to really go ahead and get a lot more people, a lot of the younger boys and girls excited about collecting Barbies. Because what hasn't happened, you've had the Hasbro Black Series. I think that's really ignited the collecting for a lot of the younger crowd now. The movies, of course, to get everybody excited, the shows. But I don't want to just say it's for girls, but the girls kind of have felt a little bit left out in terms of collecting some of the Star Wars stuff. They're even some of the biggest fans out there. So this is really exciting for them.
Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely we all know each other from various cons and stuff, but the Her universe at San Diego is monstrous with their Star Wars line, and then it's huge.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
So the exclusive I got for everybody is if you don't follow Humble Bundle, what they do is they do bundles at very cheap prices. The one they dropped this month was a Walking Dead bundle where you can get, I think it's 90 plus of their comics for $18, all digital. But I mean, if you follow Walking Dead at all, if you've loved the TV show and wanted to see where it all kind of started, great way to get yourself into those comics. Bear warning, they're a lot more graphic than the actual TV shows. I'm warning you now. Don't give those to your 8-year-old. But it's a great comic series where he really went with it. You can really see how the show ties into the comic books, where it pulls apart from them. Great chance to get yourself a hold of some good comic books.
And don't get turned off. I know a lot of people look at it like, oh wait, it's black and white. You will forget that it is in black and white very quickly into it. You'll be immersed in their world. It's definitely a good read, definitely a good series.
Yeah, I'm leaning. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get that. I got one of the last compendiums, and I finished up right at toward the tail end of Whisperers. I'm not gonna do any. I don't know who's still catching up on the last season, so because that's where I diverged when the comics, but. Yeah, I'm really interested in what's happened after that, and especially with the comic coming to the end. I'd like to see that final trail before I watch it on TV.
And then, do you know if they go through the end of the series or no? The
TV show or the comics? So I don't know. And again, I stopped following the comics probably around the 80th issue, and this is going well past 90. And some of the special ones they came out with. I don't know where the comic books ended.
Okay.
So I can't answer that.
I think that bundle was the complete run.
Was it? Okay.
Because, it was a bundle of the 6 or 8, sorry, I don't have more accurate, but the 6 or 8 compendiums, and it was a bundle of everything. So I think it was the complete run. So you're going to get from beginning to end with that, an $18 bundle, which is amazing.
Yeah, and the way they the bundle works is you can pay. There's 3 different prices. You can pay the $1 and get so much. You can pay the $8 and get a little bit more. You can pay the full amount and get the entire collection. And what's really cool about it too is the money. Portion of the money does go to charities. So and you kind of get to pick the charities it goes to. If it's some kind of technical coding stuff, which is what I'm into. You'll see some charities that go towards that. The comic books, I think, and I just pulled it up because I wanted to actually see. It's supporting the Bink Book Industry Charitable Foundation this time around. So again, you're getting some good comics, but some money is going to a good cause as well.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think next up, that's kind of the exclusives we had to talk about. Really wanted to have a quick conversation with this being Star Wars week about not so much, I guess really more like the future of Star Wars. There's a lot of stuff coming out. The Mandalorian just, that hit Disney Plus came out. They had a couple shows. The Mandalorian dropped. That thing was amazing. And then I think I was getting a tattoo at the time around that time frame. And then my tattoo artist was saying within that week, he had 4 people asking for the child tattoos, and he didn't know what anybody was talking about. But so what do you guys think? I know we're at various, I guess for me, Hugh grew up, I think I'm pretty sure I'm definitely the oldest of the group. So, I definitely grew up during the originals and then Empires. You can tell by age group, I think, which favorite movies people have, but Empire is definitely my favorite. And then man, I think I already said The Mandalorian was amazing. It really got me. I haven't watched any of the animated stuff, but that show was amazing. I ate it up, and the directing, top notch, and then visually, it gets me really excited for what Disney Plus is going to do with the Marvel shows and stuff like that, because they obviously went completely out to make that show look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and we got some good stuff too, like Rogue One. Rogue One came out, and it really, really was a phenomenal. It could have been a standalone movie, but where it was there to kind of prequel to Episode 4. Like you, Tori, I grew up with Star Wars. With the original trilogy, got to see the newer movies as they came out in theaters. But it's just a great fandom, and I'm glad that we're starting to see. My daughter loves the new movies, right? She really loves seeing Rey run around with a lightsaber. It's great. We talked earlier about not just girls getting into the fandom, but the younger generation coming into the stuff that we love. It's great to watch and seeing Disney really take that mantle and keep running with it. But yeah, we got some really good stuff coming out. There's already talks about a new Star Wars movie coming out. Taika's going to be, directing and co-writing this new thing. So it looks like some really good stuff coming out there.
And who right now does not like Taika? I mean, his episode of The Mandalorian was that's probably, I love the whole show, but the conversation with the 2 speeder bike troopers just hanging out and that was it was nuts to see in a Star Wars show, and I loved it. But
I had flashbacks of actually being in the military and having talks similar to that, right? Where you're just sitting on post, you're just having a great, just you're bored out of your mind and just start talking about the most random stuff. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Danny is just Star Wars. Got it.
That's a great episode. I mean, but I felt bad for the child. He was just getting around in the back.
Did you hear? I can't remember the actor's name right now, but he got destroyed on Twitter for.
Yeah, because he played the Stormtrooper.
Oh yeah, isn't it from Barry? He's on Barry. From Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name. Yeah, he got ripped.
That was
I did not like him.
Yeah, that's it. There's a lot of good stuff coming out with Star Wars. They've been going back and forth about there's going to be what's going to drop and what's not, and they've gone back and forth. But I know the Kenobi series, that should be really top notch. If I just feel really confident, with Disney taking over Lucas, you had concerns because it's Disney, and then what's going to happen next and everything like that. But man, after The Mandalorian, I feel really confident that any shows or anything they're going to do are going to be really good, because they seem really adamant about just bringing in top-notch people to produce, show, run, and direct.
That's going to be the key thing, is getting in the top-notch people to do it. What really upset me about the newer movies was just the inconsistencies between, you had 2 different directors that did the 3 movies. I think it was 2 directors, right? So, and I mean, it just felt inconsistent going from one movie to the next. Regardless of your feelings of the movie as a whole, it just felt disconnected. So hopefully we can get some. But when you look at the Mandalorian, you look at Rogue One, you look at some of the other stuff they put out, it does feel like a lot better material. So hopefully we get a lot more of that going into the future.
What's to come out next in the order of things? Is there going to be is the second season of The Mandalorian the next thing down the pike?
Second season of Mando should be the next thing that comes up. They were supposed to start filming, I should say, Kenobi this year.
Okay.
And obviously there's talks going on when that's going to be delayed and what that's supposed to be. I can't really speculate a whole lot of that. But I mean, I'm sure Disney's going to continue on with the series. They've got several animated series they've got going on. They've got a Cassian series, which is he's the smuggler from Rogue One, right? So they're going to have a series coming out on him apparently, where it's going to be prior to the actual movie and his life leading up to that. So I think they're trying to generate some good original content from that. Which, if The Mandalorian is anything to clue us in on, it's going to be a really good feature for it.
Are we getting anything else? I know Clone Wars just finished, and then I'm not, like I said, and then full admission, like I tried to do Clone Wars. I've tried twice to get through season 1, and I just have not been able to do it. And then I just had some friends chime in the other day and tell me what episode of season 2 it was with I forgot the war at Padme's planet, but the second war of Genosha is that right? What episode of season 2 I need to hop in, and it said I'd have an easier time. But everybody says the last season that just finished up was amazing. I don't know if any of you guys had watched that.
No, I'm on season 2, trying to catch up now. Because again, it's that there's so much content nowadays. It's really hard to just say and we love everything about what we love, and it's hard to say, okay, I'm gonna sit down and watch this, and I'm gonna sit down and watch this, and sit down and watch this, and then still try to have some kind of life. Maybe if this kicks off, we can sit around and watch movies all day.
Oh yeah.
I'm not as disciplined of a watcher, so I'm all over the place. If I see one with General Grievous or Darth Maul, I'll sit and watch the whole thing. But I'm all over the place there.
I've seen clips of the the last 2 or 3 episodes with Maul, and the transition between kind of the Mandalorian, at the end of the Clone Wars, and then Order 66 getting dropped down. So yeah, it's really wanting me to go back and try it again. I might just skip it and just go straight to season 6. We'll see. But
I mean, and that's one of the beautiful things about Star Wars, right? Like, you kind of started off in this one little area when the first 3 movies came out, and then we went to the beginning, and then we skipped to the end.
Oh yeah.
How's all these little shows in between? You know what's happening.
And so I don't think I can have a Star Wars discussion without bringing up Galaxy's Edge, because that's I am a theme park junkie. You guys will get to know that. But finally we got to go. We did a little pre-Comic-Con trip out to Disneyland last year and got to check out Galaxy's Edge. And whenever we get past all this COVID stuff and theme parks can open up, I cannot recommend enough. You got to get out to Galaxy's Edge. And I haven't even ridden Rise of the Resistance yet. They pulled us in by opening Galaxy's Edge, making it amazing. So, you make a trip out there, and then the real ride wasn't going to open up to the year later. And then they were going to get us with Marvel for that this year, because they were opening up the Marvel campus. But then the Spider-Man, right, the big ride wasn't opening up until next year. So, but I don't know. I know, Danny, you have. Dan, I don't think you have. But what do you think of Galaxy's Edge, Danny?
It was hot. It was good. It was a good time. The thing is, it was. I would say it was more than half open. But you're right. Rise of the Resistance wasn't open. I know a lot of people were standing in front of it, like, what is that? Let us get in there.
Oh yeah.
But everything was good. Like the environment was good. Even like the people that are just walking around. I know that there's the stormtroopers are always walking around interacting with the individuals. The different specialty shops are great. The bar was a good time. So there's a lot of good stuff. And I know whether you're going to bring it up or not, I know that you love the Ronto roasters as well. So they're rap.
But even there's the little robot is cooking them for you, and then you get the Ronto roasters and the blue milk to finish it down. Yeah, Galaxy's Edge. I think Universal started it with the Harry Potter world, and then with the whole immersive theme park, where I think up until that point, it was, you theme a ride. And I think before that, Disney was by far the best at theming their rides. And then Universal just stepped it up by, instead of just having a ride, having, if you've ever been to Islands of Adventure, they have the 5 different islands, but especially when they did Harry Potter, where it wasn't just, I'm going on a Harry Potter ride and the people on that ride are dressed up. It was like a complete immersive land.
It was.
And then amazing. And then, then we got Avatar, we got Pandora at Disney, and then which, I've been to amazing rides, but I think the big one people were, Avatar is weird for like it to be like the highest grossing movie of all time, pretty much. It just sits in the back of everybody's mind and nobody thinks about it or talks about it.
Well, we'll see what happens here in the next couple of years when the next movie drops.
They're never coming out.
I want to say one quick thing about Avatar. I have watched it 7 times, but I've never finished it.
Oh.
I don't know if it's about me or the length of the movie. I don't know. But I've never watched it to the very end. But I watched the beginning 7 times.
Yeah. Have you seen Fern Gully?
I have.
You're good then.
Oh. You're good.
You're good.
I got a pass.
Now that was I don't know if you're watching it like on a DVD, kind of in your own, in your stuff. I remember watching that movie in the theater, and I remember watching the little like jellyfish thing, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. It's like right next to me. It felt like a great 3D movie. Hopefully the next ones resonate so well. The storyline, it's okay. But I really think it was the true 3D-ness that really brought that movie out and made it as good as it was. It kept it on top.
And I think that's what I missed out on because I heard that that movie was made for 3D. And
oh yeah. Well, I guess to link them both together, if you want to talk Star Wars and Avatar and kind of the Harry Potter, what we talked about while we're in this stay at home, not get to go to theme park kind of things. My family, we had a theme park night the other night where we went into the room, turned the lights off, and then on YouTube, you can do the virtual, and they pretty much have them all in 4K. The 4K ride-throughs of all the Avatar rides, the Harry Potter rides, the Star Wars rides, and like, it's amazing. Turn up the surround sound, nice 4K TV. You can go to Shanghai Disney while you're stuck at home and ride all the rides. We had we pop popcorn and like, didn't get a Ronto roaster, but we had a good time.
If you don't have a Ronto roaster, then what are you doing?
All right, well, guys, it was great. It's always good to talk Star Wars. I know, Danny, next time we'll find something more in your lane, I'm sure. But Star Wars, it's an amazing property. I think, you got tons of people that are on the fence or either anti, I think most people, they like to stake a claim that they're happy that they're the one with people that have never seen Star Wars. But I think most people have seen Star Wars by now. But I think we'll go ahead and transition kind of to some of the new stuff that's coming out. We're in kind of a mass media drought right now with the environment, with studios and shows having problems, but there's some pretty cool stuff coming out. Dan, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so a couple things that are dropping. Disney Plus is not just going to let this whole time break them up. So we just heard about the Fury Files, which is going to be dropping, I think, next week. First episode. Sounds like, typical Nick Fury, right? He's got files on all the Avengers and every hero and villain. So it sounds like we're going to get a lot deeper dive into some of our favorite characters, maybe even Captain America tours. So, definitely going to start pulling you in. There's a lot of talk on this one. Is it just going to be the Avengers that we've seen? Is it going to kind of leak us some of the insight on what's going to come to the future from Marvel? A lot up in the air on this one, so we're really excited to kind of see what Disney Plus is going to throw us in this realm.
I think, reading it, I think it's great. I'm excited for it. I don't have that high expectations because reading it, it's pretty much, it's a visual comics, and being a comic book fan, I'm super excited about it. And, and it's new content and it's new Marvel content, which is amazing. And then they're being smart. I mean, it's Disney, everybody's stuck at home, trying to find something to binge. So they're giving us some new content. So I think, they have the whole Marvel library to come from. So yeah, I think we're gonna get some amazing. I mean, there's some X-Men Hulk storylines that are just like, great, 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 and then
Oh
it's
man,
gonna be visual comic books.
yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and I hope, and I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but I'm really excited, just because I know throughout the movies they've had a lot of different Easter eggs about different characters. They've referenced, like, if you're a fan of some of these characters, they've referenced these characters. Like in one movie, I know they were referencing Moon Knight, and I know that's one of the projects
Yeah.
that they're going to have later on. So I hope maybe they allude more to some of these other characters that we haven't seen, that they were referenced, but then we haven't heard from again. Or maybe it just resuscitates some of the Netflix characters too, from that world, because I know that there's a lot of talk that Daredevil may be coming back too. So I don't know, maybe it's too much, but I know that they'll probably concentrate on what we already have, give a little backstory of how he recruited or how they found out about them. I don't know, but I like Moon Knight, so I hope they throw him in somewhere.
Well, I think the production on these can't be tough, and then they don't even really have to do a season. If it gets popular and gets a lot of streams, they should just be able to keep on churning these things out, and then just feed in this need for content.
Yeah, it'd be great for reveals, upcoming movies, characters you don't really know a whole lot about, or even just bridging those little gaps, right? It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Something else that's really, really cool dropping this week that I wasn't really expecting was a John Wick video game. And another thing that I wasn't really expecting was it not to be a true first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a nice little strategy-based game where you can run around as John Wick and do the traditional John Wick stuff, kill people, and run around and have a lot of fun with that. And it's surprisingly cheap. Again, video games, I'm expecting a $60 plus price tag. I think this one is dropping for like $20.
Yeah.
And I mean, so if you're into video games, I typically can't go for the 60 plus ones, but $20. But that's something that's a little bit easier to for most people to swallow these days.
I hope it has Halle Berry's dogs in it.
That would be great.
So it's a strategy game. So like, is he going to walk around with a pencil and strategize on how he's going to go and kill people?
I think regardless of what John Wick walks around with, I think it's going to be an interesting game.
To your point, I'm shocked that it's not a first-person shooter or even a third-person shooter. I would thought it would be a shooter of some sort, but a strategy. I think just that and John Wick makes me want to go out and get it.
Yeah, and looking at the demo, I mean, it looks like a very interesting graphic style. It's not very realistic like Call of Duty. Some of the stuff that's coming out now, really pushing that those next gen graphics. It's just looks like a fun game to play, which is cool. Sorely needed these days.
Can you imagine if it was like a Telltale Games, like The Walking Dead, where every choice was shoot the guy in the head? Like every time you got the option, the choice is shoot the guy in the head.
I mean, once you get going, it was either, okay, if the dog wasn't good, then all right, well, we know where this story's going.
You got to shoot him.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, I'll go in and cover. I talked about Harry Potter a little bit earlier. So on not a new addition to the Harry Potter universe, but they're releasing the actors are reading the Sorcerer's Stone, and then they're putting those up for free for you to view, and then just view the video. The first one that released was the first chapter of the Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, it's the first one. The first chapter of, or is it Sorcerer's Stone?
Sorcerer's Stone.
There you go, Sorcerer's Stone. Daniel Radcliffe read the first chapter. They put it up on the site for free, or you could listen to them on Spotify. But I don't know if it was going to be week or, I didn't see their timeline, but they're going to start releasing those with a different actor. And then some of them I know the one for the Hermione one is going to be, I don't know her name, the lady who plays it on Broadway and then on West End. She's going to be the one reading, I think, the next chapter. So that's pretty exciting if you want to get back or like introduce your kids to Harry Potter again and then see Harry Potter reading the first chapter.
Right. That's pretty cool. It took me a while to get into the Harry Potter. I'm very slow at some of these things. I got into Harry Potter 2 years ago. We went and watched them all finally. Similar to Avatar, I watched a lot of the beginnings to a lot of the movies. None of it made sense to me. It all made sense. It all came together. They're great movies. I've never read the books, so this might be a good opportunity to really kind of get in there, have it being read, and then going into the full-on reading of them.
Yeah, and if you got smaller kids, the reading of it by one of the actors is great if they've seen the movies. They're also starting to publish out some of the graphic versions of the books where they get the full novel.
Oh.
But then they've also got nice little graphics within them as well. So they're redoing some of those books as well. I think they've done 3 or 4 of them now. We have the first one. It's really well done.
Great. Well, I don't know if I can take a moment here, shift gears a little bit. Netflix. I know we all like Netflix. It's been, during these couple of months, it's been a lot of Netflix watching for a lot.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys watched? Was it Black Mirror, the Bandersnatch movie, Black Mirror?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It came out. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. Well, they're not exactly the same type of show, but Unbreakable. They're doing the same thing where you can choose your own adventure. So I spent a lot of time on the Black Mirror Bandersnatch. I went and did a couple of the different endings.
Everyone, yeah.
If you pick the wrong answer, the movie ended pretty quickly too.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that because they're doing the same concept for the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's a comedy. She lived in a bunker and escaped. So this one it's been about 4 or 5 seasons later. She's about to get married. Is it Daniel Radcliffe? I think it is. Maybe Daniel Radcliffe.
No, Jack Ham.
No.
Jack Ham.
Her.
Oh, who she's getting married to? Yes.
Fiance. So see, it ties in. It all ties in.
That's true. That's true.
Y'all gotta have to hold off on the spoilers, right? Because I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I'm gonna do this.
It's definitely a ridiculous comedy.
It is.
And then has great cast, a lot of folks from The Office and 30 Rock and, different various shows with lots of cameos and definitely a little more, not slapsticky, but a ridiculous kind of comedy. And then Titus is, just a walking meme. And then it's, just hilarious one-liners. And then lots of stuff is going over Kimmy's head because she's been in a bunker pretty much her whole life. But
yeah, but if you
this is a great wrap-up movie, I think.
Yeah, if you watch the trailer for this particular movie, the choices are a little bit extreme. There's definitely a right answer and a wrong answer, and I think it's your choice to decide how you want to move the movie along. And I think, I don't know if this is fully incorporated, but Titus, if you make the wrong move, he may tell you how bad the move was. So it should be really.
I'll definitely be checking that one out.
Awesome.
So I think we'll finish up the night with just some quick hit gems. Everybody's, I don't know about you guys, but I've been posting in some of our groups and just like asking people to help me out. Just give me some advice on something I can watch, something I can consume, because we're going through so much stuff right now watching, and then I tend to give something 2 or 3 episodes and then it drops off. So I've been working my way through the list and trying things out. So figure we give you guys some quick tips on either media, books, something, games, whatever it is that we think you should check out. I'll let Danny go first.
So I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm not sure I'm the best one this week to talk about this. But I've been really bad now. I don't want to be labeled that guy, but I like my reality shows. So Netflix has some really interesting reality shows. It may not be for everybody, but I was watching The Circle.
Oh my gosh. I love The Circle.
I was watching
The Circle. Call Danny.
Literally lit up. It's great.
And then they have them in different languages. I haven't gone to all of them, but I'm going to. I looked at the trailer when it first came out a couple of months ago. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can't watch this. I cannot wrap my head around it. And then one afternoon, I'm like, I got nothing else to do. Let's watch it. And I think I watched the whole series, in one day, maybe 2 days max. Loved it. Circle. And then they have these dating shows. I can't. Love is Blind. Watch Love is Blind. I was hooked. They're only blind for 2 or 3 episodes, but I think it's an 8 or 10 episode series. Loved it. And then there's another one that just came out where you can't touch, but They're all supposed to be very sexy, but they can't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They can't fool around while they're on the island or something.
actually, they lose prize money. Watched it. I gotta say, I think I'm a sucker for reality TV.
I think that's apparent. I got in so much trouble for The Circle. I'm the only one in my family that even liked it a little bit, and I think I binged it in like 1, maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
And for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'd walk into the kitchen behind my wife and go, "Hey, Circle, text Lisa, what up, boo? Looking good tonight." She was like, "You have to stop this."
It's a great concept. It seemed silly. It worked. I liked it. I was thoroughly entertained. I didn't think I'd be entertained with somebody just in a room talking to a computer essentially, and making their own persona to other people. It was great.
I'm intrigued a little bit now.
I vouch for your choice.
Thank you.
I have to go
I
find
didn't raise up the culture level of the show. They were really great options. They kept me entertained. I think that's when it boils down to it, whether it's intelligent, thought-provoking, or just simple fun. They were fun shows.
Great choice. Our cultural, just is through the roof now. I'll go ahead and go. Mine is on Netflix again, and then I don't know how much of a hidden gem it is because it's a pretty popular series on Netflix, but it's Last Kingdom. And then I'm more pitching Last Kingdom because of the book series. So I'm sure everybody has probably said it 100 times in their life, but the books are even better than than the show. But if you don't know, Last Kingdom is basically it's the invasion of Vikings into the UK United Kingdom back when it was the Saxons led, and then it's historical fiction. The show goes a little bit off, but Bernard Cornwell wrote the book series, and it's historical fiction. And besides the main character, Uhtred, pretty much every battle, the leaders, the kings, everybody those are the actual outcomes of battles. You'll be shocked how much of Britain the Vikings took over, and if they didn't infight between themselves. But it's a great show. And then the book series is phenomenal, so good. It separates quite a bit, between the show, but the book series is great. And he has a couple other historical fiction series. One's about like an archer that's going through, but it's the longbowmen in Britain that like changed warfare. You learn how to become a longbowman once you were like 4 or 5. And then to pull it, you went right through armor, made cavalry and armor just useless, so it changed warfare. But that's my pitch. Check out Last Kingdom on Netflix. It's a great show. If you like not just Vikings, but if you like pretty much any kind of period action war kind of show, you'll really love it.
Nice. Another one I gotta get on the list. See, there's just too much to go over, even in the quarantine period. So much good stuff. So mine is actually, I got into it through an audiobook, but it is a book as well. But it's the Mistborn series by a guy named Brandon Sanderson. I turned on to this. I picked up the book like a long time ago, some third party just book vendor or whatever like that, and then found it. When I was going through Audible, I used to have a really long commute before this is my now commute. And I had some free credits and say, cool, that book sounds familiar. Let's go ahead and jump into it, and absolutely loved it. It's this, again, I'm into, fantasy, sci-fi, that kind of stuff, but it goes into this whole other world where the entire world that everybody knows is run by this one guy, and he's just oppressing everybody. And it's about this one crew of people who come together to try to overthrow this empire. Kind of that Star Wars stuff, but a lot of that fantasy stuff that comes into it. Great storylines, great character developments. Highly recommend checking that out.
Oh, sounds cool.
So like I said, I am that guy. 2 books, historical stuff, and I like my reality TV. Okay, I got you guys. Thanks.
You saw me light up when you started talking about The Circle. You could have not have picked something that made me happy.
And that was a true reaction too. Like you had no idea he was going with The Circle.
No, I kept that very, very close to my heart. And the other one, just so you guys know, it's Too Hot to Handle. That was the third one.
In case people are like, "Oh my gosh, what was this he was talking about?"
Yeah.
Oh, they were definitely going to be waiting in
Sex
the
on the
comments. We're
island.
going to see comments on that. What was the third show?
Hey, Circle, Love Is Blind. Those are honestly pretty legit shows in the reality world. Too Hot to Handle. Yeah, you can take it or leave it.
All right, guys. Well, that was a ton of fun. I think that about wraps up our first episode of the Dabble Den. The Dabble Den, yeah.
Dabble Den. That's what we're calling it today.
We dabbled in a lot of subjects, kind of covered our Star Wars week and went a little bit more. If you liked it, make sure you like or subscribe and give us a shout on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you can find us on social media. I appreciate everyone checking us out, and then we'll see you again next week.